All right, we're going to get started in just a second. Hello, we have some from New York, Alabama, Jersey. I'm from Jersey, Colorado, Texas. Where else is everyone from? Florida, Tennessee. I get a lot from Tennessee. Welcome. Boston, not too far from me. Got some family up there as well. Gets cold just like here. All right, so I know you guys are excited to get started. We have a lot to cover today, so I want to go ahead and jump right in. I'm so excited to have you all here with me today. I am going to be going over and helping you understand what it looks like to offer tax planning. This is something I have done literally for the last, honestly, I've been in the industry for about 20 years now. In the industry, I started in tax planning. I'm going to share some of that today, but I started in the world of tax planning. I did this for corporate, for a big Fortune 100 company. And then I switched over to do it for private practices, other businesses, and I do it for small businesses. So I love to be able to take what I have and share it with others so that these are things that you can do as well. I'm so excited to be able to have you guys here. And this is something that like I said, I've been doing this for a while. I've been training other people on how to do this for the last 4 or 5 years, but I haven't actually in the last year opened this up to do any training with anyone except for a very small cohort that I was working with before. So I'm excited to be able to be here and share with all of you tonight. So before we get started, I just want to do a few housekeeping things. Make sure you take some time to really lean into today's lesson. Get yourself in a quiet space, pull out your paper, pull out your pen, take some notes, because what I have to share with all of you tonight, again, this is something I've been doing for years. I make a lot of money doing it. I want to be able to share with you so you can learn how to also do this same thing in your business and really take you from wherever you are in business to where it is that you're trying to go. Tax planning is one of those things. It's not like tax prep. It's not like your bookkeeping. It's a little bit different, but at the same time, it's what I call a high value, low volume service, which means you can use or have fewer people in your network, fewer people that you work with, but you can make more money doing it. Somebody say money in the comments, right? You can make more money doing it. That's what we want to do, right? We want to spend less time in the office. We want to spend more time with our families. We want to spend more time doing the things that we love. And so to do that, we have to put ourselves in a position to where that's going to work. Tax planning is one of the things that's going to allow you to do that. So really take in all the information tonight. If you have questions, drop those questions. I'll try and go through and answer some of them as we go. Or I may wait until the end, but drop your questions as we go along so you don't forget them. I'll be happy to answer your questions for you. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to today's session. So again, today's session is about how to offer tax strategy to your clients that your clients would actually pay for without guessing what to say or without needing more credentials. And the needing more credentials part is important because a lot of professionals, they think they need more credentials. You don't need more credentials in order to do tax planning. So during today's class, I'm going to be helping you to understand, to learn how to confidently offer strategic services that your clients will pay for without extra credentials, without overthinking, without burning out. And this is for you. If you're here, this is for you. So today we're going to be talking about who it's for. This is for bookkeepers. This is for tax pros. If you're earning less than $100,000 and you're trying to get to that $100,000 mark a year, if you're trying to get over that $100,000 mark a year, tax planning, this training, these strategies are going to be great for you to learn today. If you are tired of the seasonal work, you're trying to get out of the tax prep, if you're trying to get out of the day-to-day grind, this is going to be great for you. If you're answering a lot of client questions, if they're asking you things like, how do I hire my kids? If they're asking you things, how do I convert to an S Corp? If you're a bookkeeper saying, hey, I want to be able to offer some of these strategies and things that I've heard about, I'm not a tax pro. I don't think I want to become a tax pro, but I want to be able to help my clients with some of these things and not give them to other people to offer their services. This is also going to be great for you. Who this is not for, it's not for people who are unwilling to implement. If you're not willing to do the work, this is not for you. Those looking for overnight success, there is no overnight success, right? Some of it may sound really easy as I'm going through it, but there's no overnight success. So it's going to take time to learn these things and to get really good at it. But you'll have a great support system. So those looking to get overnight success, this isn't for you. Anyone who's not offering financial services. So sometimes I have people who join these trainings, they don't offer financial services. There's somebody who's looking to implement these things themselves. If that's you, then feel free to reach out to me. I can help you implement these things. This training won't be for you. It is not detailed enough for someone who doesn't have a background in accounting or tax. So if you're not already offering financial services, this will not work for you. Anyone who stays into the end, I have a gift for you, a surprise gift for you. So stay into the end. I have something special to offer for you just for coming and joining us today. Now, let's get started. Why am I qualified to teach this? I have, in my years of experience, I have coordinated leases worth more than $210 million to buy private jets, car fleets, businesses, mergers, real estate all around the world. That was part of my job when I worked in corporate America. So what I know is tax planning. The purpose of me doing those things for that company was to tax plan. So I know tax planning. And then I have worked for my friend, my mentor, does anyone know Tiffany Aliche, the Budgetnista? Does anyone know that name? She is someone, I was her former CFO. I worked with her for about 15 months. We were able to scale that company from $3 to $10 million. And then I transitioned away so I could really focus on myself. But she is a public figure. She is on PBS. She is a New York Times bestselling author. If you haven't heard about her, you should look her up. She's great, someone great to know and to learn from. Tiffany Aliche, the Budgetnista, great friend of mine. And I actually still work with her doing tax planning. So these are some of the reasons why I am experienced enough to tell you. What I do understand is business growth. So I understand tax planning and how to do tax planning at a high level. I understand how to do tax planning at a low level. I also understand how to do business growth. These are some of my strengths. I know I can help you with growing your business and wherever it is that you're trying to get to. So imagine this. You open your laptop, and instead of guessing what to offer, instead of guessing how to price that offer, instead of guessing, is your client ready? Will they see the value of the offer that you put before them? What if you had a process, a plan, something to bring all the information to them? And the client's going to say yes before you can even get the price out. Does that sound good to anybody? That before you can even get your price out, a client is saying yes, they want to work with you. This is what happens when you finally have a system to position your price and to deliver the strategies that you are probably already giving away for free. I haven't met a person yet who hasn't been giving away tax strategy for free. So let me show you how to offer tax strategy that clients will actually pay for without guessing what to say or needing more credentials. Would that be helpful to anybody? If so, say yes in the chat. So if that will be helpful to you to understand what exactly to say to your clients to get them to purchase from you without needing credentials, that you can just show up as yourself and bring a clear system. If that will be helpful to you, let me know in the comments by saying yes. Would that help anybody? This is what we're going to be talking about today in our session. So let's talk about what you have already tried. Comment to me if you've tried any of these things already. How many of you have tried raising your prices, but maybe didn't feel like you had a clear offer for your clients? So if that's you, let me know in the comments. Have any of you ever felt like sharing, even in the sales calls, that you were sharing too much, gave too much away? And then a client says, I'm not going to move forward. You thought they were going to move forward. They're not going to move forward. How many of you have tried to sell strategy one-on-one, but you didn't have a clear structure? And marketing Have any of you ever tried to market but feel stuck? Marketing is not something that is intuitive to a lot of us as tax and business professionals. So if you have gone through any of these things, let me know in the comments. I have been through all of these things, right? I tried raising my prices. I tried sharing. I was giving too much away. I was selling, trying to do one-on-one strategy. It wasn't working. My marketing, and in the beginning, when I got started, it was just not good. So here's the thing. You don't need more clients, but you need a better way to serve the ones you already have. You need a way to serve the ones that you already have. And more clients, great. To get additional clients, that's awesome. But if you can learn how to serve the ones you already have in a simplified manner, in a way that's going to save you time, but make you more money, how many want that? How many want that? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and why it is that I do what I do. I was working in corporate America. I was climbing the ladder. I was doing everything that I thought was right. But I barely knew my kids. I missed events daily. I felt like I just wanted to spend more time at home, right? I didn't know their personalities. So I decided to leave corporate to be home, spend time with family, my husband, travel, even had the chance to get on the Family Feud show, but I hadn't planned how to make more money. And so one of the things I didn't plan for was running out of money. So before I left my job, I made sure my husband and I, we made sure we put some money away, but it wasn't long before we got into a position where that money that we had put to the side was gone. We hadn't recouped and made additional money. And so I knew immediately I had to figure out how to start making money. By the way, this is the house that we lived in at that time. It was a 2-bedroom house. It was 5 of us that lived there. And I had 3 boys that lived in this small room that you see here. 3 kids lived in that room. This is our kitchen. This is the outside. This is where we lived because this is what we could afford. I was so excited about leaving corporate America, but I never thought that I would end up in this sort of position. So what I did was I started a tax business. But in my tax business, I was barely making $1,500 a month. And even at that time, I had to share that money with the partner. So I was doing the work, but I wasn't getting paid for it. I was answering the strategy questions. I was guiding clients. I helped them save thousands, but it wasn't being reflected in my invoices. I felt like I was invisible. I felt unvalued. I felt like I was stuck in the prep season, and I felt like I was in survival mode. And at one point, I got to the point where I just hit a brick wall. No matter how much I explained to a client, no matter what I was doing with the client, they just didn't see the value. And so I started to blame them. I said, this is your fault. Why are you not buying what it is that I'm offering? Right? They were making me angry. Why were they wasting my time? Why were they getting on a call if they knew they weren't going to buy? I only wanted real clients, right? But the issue really was not the client. How many of you think you might know what the problem was? What do you think the problem might have been for me? Anybody? What do you think the problem was? Because the problem wasn't the clients. The problem wasn't the clients. The problem was actually me. I didn't have a system. I didn't have a process that they could buy from. I couldn't provide the clarity that they needed to see how them working with me was actually going to benefit them in a way that made sense to them, that made sense enough for them to spend their hard-earned money on what I was trying to sell them. So I built a simple system that allowed me to package what I was already doing. Somebody say already doing in the comments, already doing. So I tried to package something that I was already doing. I was already doing tax planning. Remember I told you I did tax planning. I did that for a living. I was buying real estate all over the world for tax planning purposes. So I put together a plan, a process to say, well, I can do this. And then I finally got a yes. I had one client that said yes. And I earned $1,500 in that one plan. $1,500. So what I had told you a few minutes ago is what I made in a month. I made with one single tax plan. And from there, I was hooked, right? I was excited. I can do this, right? And I developed a plan that allowed me to position myself as an authority. I was going to sell clients this beautifully thought out tax plan, all nice and pretty. Then I was going to implement this service. And my focus was on the plans. My focus was on the beauty of the plans. My focus was on the plans more than it was on the clarity. And I didn't realize this. So what ended up happening is over time, I started having the same problem. The one client said yes, but now I'm not getting more yeses because the way I set up that plan created a gap where the client came to me, asked me questions, I answered them, gave them this beautiful tax plan, but they weren't moving forward. Even with the right strategies, I still ran into pushback. Clients didn't see the value. And I struggled to articulate the offer. I wasted so much time trying to customize every single tax plan. And the truth was, I was giving them something pretty, but I was not bringing them enough clarity. Can someone say clarity for me in the comments? Can someone type clarity for me in the comments? I wasn't bringing them the clarity that they needed to say, I'm willing to pay you this $1,500 if you can show me how you're going to save me $10,000, $7,000. I didn't know how to clearly articulate that to the client. But once I got really clear on the offer and created a system to deliver it, I made over $100,000 in tax planning in just 1 month. I made $100,000 through tax planning in just 1 month. I created a system to deliver it. And that was my first year in doing over $250,000. I have consistently from that time to this one done over $250,000 a year. More importantly, I stopped guessing. I started getting paid. And now I'm giving you that exact system, starting with the first thing that I was able to put into that plan, that structure, which was the paid strategy playbook. How many of you want to hear about the paid strategy playbook? This is the exact thing that I did to start getting clients. I stopped trying to prove to them my value. I stopped trying to present to them these beautifully decorated tax plans. I stopped giving away strategy and consults. I stopped wondering if clients would pay. I stopped customizing all these things. And I started charging them $1,500 confidently, upselling them into year-round services. I was able to do all of those things through a simple process, through a simple plan. And that became what I called the paid method. Can someone say the paid method? Sorry, my screen looks a little blurry. Can someone say the paid method? The paid method. So I started introducing what was called the paid method. Paid, P stands for positioning. I positioned myself as the authority. A, I completed an assessment on analysis that the client paid me for. Remember, I told you guys, bringing them that clarity. I made sure the client paid me for the clarity that I was bringing them. I implemented the strategy, and then I delivered top-notch service. Just give me a second. I'm trying to clean this I'm getting a really bad glare. So I gave them a great deliverable, top-notch service, right? Once I did that, I shared it with others. And these are some of the results that we got. So JC Morgan actually is an accountant. She's not an EA. She closed a $5,000 tax plan simply by going through our training. Elizabeth, who's an accountant and a non-EA, at least not at this time, she was not an EA. She increased her fees from $250 is what she was charging to convert someone from an S Corp to $5,000 for an S Corp conversion. And then Cassandra, who has been one of our biggest clients, she has gone on to do really amazing things. She had 2 clients that she closed for $32,000 in tax planning. After 20 years and over $100,000 invested, which this is money that I have invested myself into, there we go. This is money I've invested myself by discovering the hard way. I'm going to make it a lot easier for you. I'm going to share with you what it is that I did. So if you're ready, say ready. Let me know that you're ready in the comments. You guys you're not very loud in the comments, but I would love to hear you guys talking back to me. It gives me energy. It boosts me up. It encourages me. Yeah, so someone was just asking me, thank you for that question. Someone asked, are they supposed to see other chat functions? They only see the Q&A. In the Q&A, you should be able to type responses in there, and that comes through as like a chat response that I can see. So you guys can type in the Q&A section. Does everyone see that section at the bottom? Let me know if you see that section at the bottom. Okay, thank you. Great. I'll make sure that everyone sees it. Yes, you see it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Awesome. Great. So you guys are seeing it. Ready. Let's go. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for all the love. It's helping me. It's helping me. All right. So there are 3 secrets that I want to tell you guys about. All right. There are 3 secrets to getting paid, right? We talked about the paid method. There are 3 secrets that you will need to know to get paid. So let's review them. The very first one is you're not actually undercharging because you're inexperienced. You already know enough, girl. The thing is you're undercharging because you are undervalued. You are undervalued. We want to talk about that. The second secret I want you to know is you can deliver premium tax strategy in 30 minutes or less using AI prompts. And the third thing I want you to know is the fastest way to get to 6 figures isn't more clients. It's serving the ones you have. I want to talk a little bit about that. So let's jump into the very first thing. You're not undercharging because you're inexperienced. You're undercharging because you are undervalued. How do we take our clients from a potential client to an actual client who's paid? This is where I start my analysis. Someone say analysis. I start with a simple analysis that looks just like this Excel spreadsheet. How many of you thought that I was going to show you an Excel spreadsheet as your tax planning template? This literally is what I share with clients. It's an Excel sheet because clients don't care as much about the pretty templates as much as they care about, are you bringing them clarity? They want to know how much will they save by working with you? How much do they have to invest to do it? How much do they have to pay you to implement? That's what they want to know. So if you can answer those questions for them, that's what they care about. This has sold me over $1 million in tax plans from this Excel sheet. Most of my clients, I don't even send a tax planning template to. Now, I used to. When I started in the beginning, every client I gave them a tax planning template. And there's nothing wrong with giving them a template. In fact, I've shared the template. For those of you who got the VIP, I shared the template with you. And I'm going to show you how to put together a template. But the thing that they want to know is, tell me how much you can save me and tell me how much I'm going to have to pay you to do it. So what I realized, they needed more clarity to move forward, more so than they needed the pretty templates. I had it backwards. I was spending all this time on the templates and not enough time figuring out how to bring them clarity. And I don't use tax planning software. I've gotten this question so many times. I don't use tax planning software. And the reason I don't use it is because tax planning software cannot account for things like alternative minimum tax, QBI, a lot of them don't account for. There are different things that can happen in the course of breaking this out for a client that the software, the tax planning software isn't going to give you. So I was left with telling clients at times, hey, I can save you $100,000 only to find out it was 50. And do you think the clients were mad when I told them they were going to save 100 only to save 50? You better believe it. So what I did instead was I built out a process that allows me to analyze and allow me to be more of a helpful service provider for them, and then turn me into a trusted strategist. Because people don't buy strategy, they buy clarity. And if you heard that, say clarity in the comments. Type clarity. People don't buy your strategy, they buy the clarity. They want to know that what you've done is going to save them a certain amount of money. They want to know that what you've done is what, when you tell them that you're going to save $20,000, that's what they're going to see on the return. That's what they want. And tax planning software doesn't allow you to do that. I don't know a single tax planning software that even tells you what the state savings are. They don't tell you what the state savings are. And a lot of the federal savings are wrong because they can't account for all the small things. They just account for these higher level things. So do you think I can take this Excel sheet just like this and sell a $15,000 tax plan? Someone tell me in the comments, can I take an Excel sheet that looks like this and sell someone on a $15,000 tax plan without giving them a tax plan template, without anything? Do you think I can do that? Just let me know let me know what you think in the comments or the Q&A section. Do you think that's something I can do? I would tell you for sure it's something that I can do. I do it all the time. And those clients, they come back every single year. I sell $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 tax plans without a single tax template. Only thing I use is this. I use an Excel sheet. And I use my tax prep software. How many of you already have some sort of tax prep software that you utilize in your business? If you have a tax prep software that you already use in your business, let me know in the comments or let me know in the Q&A section, right? So I'm seeing yes, right? You guys already have tax prep software. That is going to give you the best estimate to tax savings over any tax planning software out there. And you can use tax planning software because that's where I started in the beginning. But I will tell you, some of those estimates were so far off. And I had clients that were so angry at me because I was charging them too much for what they actually ended up saving. Every single client is going to ask you, what will they save? And when they get their return at the end of the year, they're going to see, even if you don't do the prep for them and they have it done by somebody else, they're going to see if you actually save them what you said you're going to save them. Everyone's going to look and see. Every single one of my clients looks. And because I come extremely close to the estimate that I gave, it's not exact, right? Because we don't have tax planning software for 2025 right now, right? We only have 2024 software. So I use my tax prep 2024 software. So that's the closest estimate I can get, but it's very close to determining what they're actually going to save. So when they go to check next year in 2025, it's going to be almost the same thing. So I put the results to the test because I was able to show them in an Excel sheet exactly what I could save them, what it would cost them, what they needed to invest. I've been able to close $15,000 and more tax plans using this Excel sheet without a single tax planning template. And I was able to, last year was the first year that I was able to do 6 figures in a single month doing tax plans. Does anybody know when a tax plan busy season is? Because tax planning busy season is not the same as tax prep or bookkeeping or any other busy season. Anybody have a guess on when tax planning busy season is? October, yes, yes, yes. October, October. Even now, you're right, Katrina. Even now is things start to pick up. By October, yes, October, the end of October, November, December. So you guys are at the prime time to come in and learn about tax planning, because that gives you a few months to really learn, so that by October, November, December, if you do your marketing, you're getting out there and you're in front of people, you are going to see people asking you for services October, November, December. I was able to do 6 figures in 1 month between November and December. Why is it October, November, December? And that during that last quarter of the year, because everyone's trying to get their stuff in before the end of the year. Everyone's trying to get it in before the end of the year. So it allows you to be able to do more money in that busy season. So if you do want to still do tax prep and be really busy, and if you do bookkeeping all year long, there's a period of time that you can look forward to where you can get these high value, low volume services. You don't need a lot of clients to hit 6 figures. You don't need a lot of clients. And you know what's even easier? My current clients that I already work with, upselling them through a phone call. I literally follow a script that helps me to sell to them. If you already do someone's tax prep, if you already do bookkeeping, if you do tax prep, say tax prep in the comments. If you do bookkeeping, say bookkeeping in the comments. You have everything you need to see what your clients can do in terms of tax planning. If you have their tax prep and you see that they're making a certain amount, you can say, hey, I see that you made this much last year. You should probably be an S Corp. I see that you made this much. Or I see that you have kids. You've talked to me about hiring your kids. Let's move you into hiring your kids. You can look at a client's return and say, oh, I see we have this retirement property. Let's look at doing a cost segregation. If you have the returns, if you're already doing the books, you have all the opportunities right in front of you. You can see what clients will work for tax planning to upsell them. You just got to present to them the ideas. So it's not just understanding how to close new clients, but you can more easily upsell your existing clients. And whether or not you know this, it takes you 1 or 2 weeks to upsell an existing client. It takes you 30 to 60 days to upsell a new client. So it's easier to upsell an existing client. And the thing that closes the gap between the new client is if they are a referral. So if you start doing these strategies for your clients, guess what? Birds of a feather flock together. So they have friends who want to do the same thing. And guess who they're going to send them to? You. And then not only that, you get paid on the front end and the back end. Because when you set them up in things like hiring your children and they don't have payroll, which is one of the things they got to set up, guess what? When you sign them up, you can sign them up through your referral program through Gusto. And guess what? Gusto is also going to pay you for every client you bring in. It's like $300 a client on top of what you're already charging them to set them up to hire their kids. Our minimum to help someone hire their kids is $2,000. So that one thing, now you made almost $2,500 from doing it one time. S Corp conversions, we charge like $5,000 per S Corp conversion. Now we have a lengthy process, but that's what we charge, and clients pay it because S Corp conversion, if you take them all the way through the process, when you take the weight off of them and put it on you, guess what? Clients are happy to pay you that because they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to deal with some of the things that are coming down the pipe from an S Corp conversion, especially if someone wants to go back to January, that's a late conversion, which means there's payroll that has to be done by hand. It also means that there's some late notices they're going to have to respond to. One of the things my company does, we know how to respond to those notices in such a way that we get all penalty and interest removed. IRS doesn't remove interest. They only remove penalty. But if you write the right letters, they remove penalty and interest. So literally you have what you need already in your hands. So who does this upselling to? Who does it work for? It works for anyone who follows the steps. It works for anyone who values themselves and the work that they do in the analysis. The client is looking for confidence. They're looking for your confidence. So if you come in like, I don't know, I'm not sure, they're going to sense that. The way that you get confident is you got to keep doing it. But also the way that you get confident is to sit down and make sure that when you do it, you're following a system. Because if you got a system, guess it's going to be easy to share it with someone. Even if you aren't 100% confident, if you got a system, it will take you through this step by step. This works for anyone who's ready to start closing tax plans. It's for any accountants or tax pros who feel like they're underpaid, who want to make more than an hourly wage. You can do this on the side and say, hey, this is what I do, is I help people hire their kids. This is what I do. I help people with S-Corp conversions. All of your marketing can lead people to that. And now you're making an extra $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month. Anybody want to make an extra $5,000 or $10,000 a month? Now you don't have to do all the strategies, is what I'm saying. Do the things that make sense for you and your business. Learn how to get really good at one or two things. And that's what you offer. You start to upsell your clients into that. What are the things that your clients need? You start upselling them into that. You start saying what it is that you can offer. So again, you're not charging because you're inexperienced. You got the experience, you got the knowledge, you're undercharging because because you're undervalued. You got to show your value. You got to show your value. Second thing, you can deliver these strategies in 30 minutes or less. 30 minutes or less. You can put together this strategy, right? So how did I use AI to help me simplify this process? I used to spend hours, I told you guys, hours on hours, making these pretty templates after every call. Every time a client said they wanted to do the analysis, I start with the analysis. Client pays me for the analysis. I do the analysis, then I put it in this pretty template. And I started saying to myself, you are doing too much. And then I asked myself, how can I do this faster? So I took a few of the client questions that I already asked. I created ChatGPT prompts or AI prompts. If you don't use GPT, you might use a different system. And I let it help me create a working outline in 5 minutes. And that was like my aha moment. I started to pair that with another system known as Gamma. Gamma helps you build presentations. So I took all the information, put it together in a nice structured platform on ChatGPT, plugged it into Gamma. Gamma gave me the template. So now I had this premium tax plan that I could give to somebody that I did in less than 30 minutes. And clients, they had already said yes. Before I even showed them, I would tell you most of my clients, probably 80% of my clients that I work with say yes. When I tell you they come back every year, last year I was so swamped with clients. That's how I got the 6 figures in 1 month. I was just swamped. Every client was sending like 2 more clients, 1 more client. All these clients were coming in. And I told you, for my services, a lot of them I'm doing 5, 10, 15,000, depend on which ones. $25,000 tax plans is $100,000. So it wasn't like I had to serve a ton of people. I just served the right people. Someone say the right people. I served the right people. And as a result, I was able to hit 6 figures. So you don't need a lot. You need the right ones. You can deliver these in 30 minutes. If you're doing Excel, if you're taking the analysis that you do and you're plugging that into Excel to present to the client, you do it even less time. You just plug in the numbers in, showing how much they're going to save. My point is, this doesn't have to take a lot of time. It doesn't have to take a lot of time. AI is going to allow you to plug and play. It's going to cut your time in into minutes. So what took me hours before, now I'm doing in minutes. I'm doing in minutes. And we have a whole process that we utilize. All right. And I'm able to create these tax plans. I'm able to take my ideas and put them in these tax plans fast. Now, with the right tax plan, now you can automate the back end too. So it just doesn't stop with the tax plan. You do the analysis, you find out how much they're going to save, you create a plan, a tax plan for them, right? You put it in a plan that you can present to them and say, hey, this is how much you're going to save. This is how much it's going to cost you for me to do the implementation. And they say they pay you for the analysis. And my sweet spot for an analysis is $750. So they pay me for $750 for the analysis, and then they pay me for the plans to implement them. And I told you, most of those start at $5,000. So that's $5,750. So they pay me for the plan, but then after that, there are still things to do. What are some of the things that you're going to have to do after you present a plan to somebody? Say, hey, here's the plan. This is what it's going to cost me. And they say, okay, great. I want to move forward. There's other things you got to do, right? You send the plan. You got to send what? Follow-up email. You might have an onboarding process. And you might say, well, if I'm already working with them, if this is a client you're already working with, yes, you don't have an onboarding process for a new client, but there's still an onboarding process for the new service. That's a different service. So every service for us, there's a new process, a new pipeline, a new workflow. If someone's doing hiring your children, but they're also doing an HRA plan, guess what? Those are two different services. They're also doing a retirement plan. That's a different service. So those are two different flows that they will go through in our system so we can track them and make sure they don't get lost. Someone say white glove treatment for me. And someone type white glove treatment. When you are charging clients this amount of money, you want to give them a white glove treatment. Now, that doesn't mean you got to show up and be every single day I'm responding and I'm doing, actually, you should be showing up every day and responding, especially if someone's paying you, $5, $10, $15, $20,000, right? But let the system do the white glove treatment for you. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Let your system do it for you. It will save you time. It makes the client feel amazing. It makes them feel amazing. So I've done all this talking, but I want you guys to actually see and understand how doing tax planning saves time, saves money, brings clarity if you build it out right. So this is an example. It's a case study. Let's look at this case study. Let's say you are already working with a client. That client does a 1040 every year Schedule C. They have 3 years of returns you're going to ask them for. You're going to charge them $500 per return, right? They do the home office deduction, some other things. But then you say, I can actually put this person into an S-Corp conversion. Have any of you ever seen with your clients the amount of money they're making? You're like, I think maybe they should be in an S-Corp. You see their self-employment tax is high. I know the bookkeepers, you don't see the self-employment tax, but have any of you wondered if you have clients that should be in an S-Corp? If you have, just say yes in the comments. Just let me know. Have you ever thought about, should this client be, how do I know if this client should be in an S-Corp? Okay, so I'm getting some yeses. If you're wondering if you should move them into an S-Corp, there's a clear process to help you understand if they should be in an S-Corp. They should be in an S-Corp. Every S-Corp conversion we do 3 things. We do the S-Corp conversion, which is filing the paperwork. We also automatically put them into 2 strategies, the Augusta loophole and accountable plan. The Augusta loophole and accountable plan. Augusta loophole is basically them being able to rent out their home to themselves for up to 14 days a year. You cannot do that in an LLC. A lot of people don't know that. You can only do it in an S-Corp. So it's one of the things that we automatically tell the clients, and we put in place. We ask them, have they used their house for anything, even down to, have you done photo shoots in your home? Have you held board meetings in your home? Have you held annual meetings for your team in your home? And we often find that clients have done something in their home where they've had meetings, not including the home office, where they've had other meetings or done other things in their home that they can write off. We do the research, we do all of that for them. We have a very clear process. Our process outlines where to go, what website to go to get to find out, to do the research on it, what we need to do with that information, how we need to collate all that information so that if we ever get audited, we can say, we pulled these rates from these sites. These sites are this far from our client. These are the sizes of those sites that we looked at. And this is the size of our client's space that they utilize. We have a full breakdown to make sure that we implement it properly for every client. And because we have a clear process, it works like that. And I have a team, so I don't do all of them. I have my team doing them too. Because there's a process, they can follow it. And we also have them do an accountable plan. An accountable plan is basically when you do your home office, your business use of home, right? You do your business use of your personal vehicle. You're using your personal vehicle for work purposes. You can't do that in a standard, 8829 right off your home the way you do when you're in an S corp. You have to do it differently. It's called an accountable plan. So we build that out for them. We have a whole process. We make sure they follow every single step. So we build all of that out for our clients. We present it to them. We tell them we're going to charge you $5,000. They don't blink an eye. Because in most cases, we find that we're saving them somewhere over $30,000 in taxes, not in depreciation, not in any of those things, in tax savings. So when I tell you bookkeepers, you don't need to know how to do like the actual tax side. What you do need to know is, what is the process to do it? What is the process to do it? So in that example, that person went from $500 to $5,000 with one service, one client. One service, one client. That's a great question. So someone just said, what if I have zero tax background and no tax software? So that is a good question. I would say if you have zero tax background and you have no tax software, I would recommend that you partner with someone who does. Because if you have a client who says, I want to do an S corp conversion, and you're like, okay, great. I can, get you set up on an S corp conversion. If you work with somebody who does the tax side, you can do the other things like set up the payroll. So now the referral comes to you for the payroll. You can do certain parts and let someone else do the other parts. And you can either pay them outright for those parts, or you can say, hey, we can do some sort of split. When I started, even though I was in tax prep, I didn't know how to do any of the strategies. I didn't know the process, because it's very different what I did in corporate versus what I do personally, for small businesses. And so I didn't fully understand the processes. And so I partnered with someone. And so I would have clients that came in and essentially they would do it, but they were kind of showing me the process as we went along. And so as I learned from them, then I was like, oh, okay, I can do this, because you're doing the same thing. The one thing I hope you guys are all hearing me say is, if there are specific strategies you want to put someone in, keep doing the same strategies. You don't have to do 50 different strategies. If you say people come to me to hire their kids, do the same thing every time. Hire their kids. Every time. Do the same thing. You know how much it's going to cost. You know what the steps are. You know all of that. And so if you are somebody who doesn't have a background in tax and you don't have tax software, then what you could do is, like I said, partner with somebody. As you're doing it, you're learning the process, you're seeing the process. And if you're just doing the same thing every time, it'll be easy to implement it for that strategy. I started with 5 basic strategies: home office, business vehicle, S Corp conversions, HRAs, hiring your kids. Those are the 5 things I started with. And I still do those. So you can start with just a couple, a handful, and see how to do those. Or you can partner with someone and have them do the tax side, and then you're handling your side. You can pay them for that side that they're doing. Someone will be happy to partner with you for them to do your analysis. Say, hey, I'll pay you, I'll pay, I need this done. It's $750. I'll pay you the analysis or I'll split the analysis, however you want to do it, but you're bringing them work. Someone will be happy to partner with you on that. And that's what I did. And that's how I learned it. And honestly, I think that's the best way to learn it. That's the best way to learn it. Did I answer your question? Awesome. So transactional services versus tax planning. I always say transactional services, your bookkeeping, your tax prep, those are transactional services. Why did I say they're transactional? Because there's you can only charge so much. If I have a bookkeeping client, right? I have a bookkeeping client. I know I can only charge so much, right? So I was working with someone actually just recently who did about 200, 300,000 last year. I can't come in and be like, hey, I'm gonna charge you $1,000 a month for bookkeeping. They're not gonna go for that. That's not the running rate for bookkeeping. I can't say for that return, hey, I'm gonna charge you $3,000 for that return. It's not the going rate. So they're not gonna really pay for that. So it's more transactional. It's like, this is what this is what we do. A lot of them were simplified, not all, right? Because we know some tax prep can be crazy. We know some bookkeeping can be crazy and be not your norm, but a lot of it's transactional. Tax planning is analytical. It's more analytical. And that's why I say you follow a process. Tax prep, it's low value. Value, what I mean, not that what you're doing is not valued. It is valued. And honestly, bookkeepers, shout out to you, because I always say bookkeeping is the foundation of any business. If they don't have bookkeeping, it's a wrap. I guarantee there's going to be issues. You got to have bookkeeping. It's the foundation of any business. So what you do is very valuable, but there's a cap on how much you can charge. So that's why I say low value, because you can only charge so much. Tax planning, on the other hand, has much bigger margins. So it's higher value. Tax prep, bookkeeping, we're looking at income and expenses. Planning, we're looking at deductions, depreciation, we're looking at credits. Tax prep, bookkeeping is compliance. We want to make sure that it's done properly, right? The data is correct. Planning says we're looking at savings. And prep and bookkeeping is preparation of the income return, right? Preparation of the financial statements. Planning is saying, how do we save on these tax liabilities? So they're 2 very different services. So I'm going to give you an example. So everyone, take out your paper and your pen. We're going to do an example. And I just want you guys to just do a little math so you can kind of see, what does it look like to start offering tax planning? All right, so we're going to look at a tax preparation case versus tax planning case. Tax preparation typically takes 30 minutes per prep. Now I'm talking about a very simple prep. I'm not talking about anything over the top, like just W-2s, basic, 1095As, like basic tax prep. And maybe, they have their health insurance or whatever for the year. Basic stuff, right? Takes about 30 minutes. So if you in a 4-hour time period, you can do 8. Now, tax planning, one client, I say give yourself 4 hours. And the reason why I say 4 hours is because I usually will do our initial call, which is when I upsell them into the analysis. After that, I go and do the analysis. That might take me about an hour to pull everything together, to run the analysis. And in addition to running the analysis, to pull the analysis together in that Excel sheet or the template. Then I always do a follow-up call. And my follow-up call is an hour long. And I go over with them the results and I answer any of their questions. And I give myself an extra hour just because other things come up. Now you start the implementation process, right? So give myself another hour. Let the system do the heavy work. So tax prep, 8 hours, tax planning, 1 hour. So in a 4-hour time period, you can make about $2,400 during tax prep, 8 clients every 4 hours, right? So 8 clients every 4 hours. So let's say each client, you charge $300 each. Probably should be a little bit higher, maybe $350, right? So in 4 hours, you can make about $2,400. However, one client, say an S Corp client, that one client can yield you for $5,000, more than double what you can make with tax prep. Now, there's one thing that's not on here that I'm not specifically saying, but do you guys see something that is missing in the first 2 sections? Do you see anything else that sticks out to you about the 8 clients in 4 hours or 1 client in 4 hours and what you can make? Does anyone see anything drastically different? Or maybe something I haven't highlighted in that space? I know I'm making you guys think hard. Well, I'm gonna tell you, 8 clients is very mentally taxing compared to 1 client. So if you can focus on 1 client to do one thing that you have a clear outline for, not only is that you're making more money, the amount of people, very good, Sabrina. So not only are you making more money, right? But you're also in a space where it's not as mentally taxing. You got to review 8, you got review of 8 new cases every 4 hours, right? Versus having to review 1 every 4 hours. There's no way that I would have been able to do tax prep and do 6 figures and not by myself at these numbers. There's no way that I would have been able to do that in a month. I can with tax planning because most of the tax plans are at least a certain value amount. So I don't have to do as many. I don't have to do as many to hit that number. It's going to take you 34 people approximately to hit $10,000 in a month. I only need 2 to hit 10,000. And it's going to take you 17 hours with tax prep. And it's going to take you 8 hours, which is 50%. So you make more, you make a little more than double in the same time period, but it takes you about half the time to hit a goal of $10,000. And now I'm not just making this up. Literally, that was my goal. So once I was at the place I was making $1,500, started making $1,500 per plan. I said, okay, my next goal was to hit $10,000. I remember saying I need to hit $10,000. And I remember being able to hit that goal. And it wasn't as taxing because I was doing higher value services. So planning on this line, you're really making double the money in half the time. So in 16 hours, you're going to make about 20,000, whereas in 16 hours of prep, you'll make about 10. This is an added service, an additional service that you can add. Tax planning will pay you more, and it's going to do so in less time. And I realized I didn't need more clients. I just needed to offer more to the ones I had. When I upsold 1 client into year-round strategy and support, everything changed. So now I started doing the upsell into additional services. So the fastest way to get to 6 figures isn't more clients, is doing more with the ones that you already have. And I'm talking to my bookkeepers too, because if you're already working with somebody, not only now would you be able to offer them tax planning, but you can also offer CFO services. You can upsell clients into CFO services. And what does that look like? So before I had the seasonal, okay, I'm making a lot, and during tax season, then I wasn't making anything, right? And then I was waiting for tax season to come back around. I realized though, if I needed to offer more to clients I already had on top of looking for new ones, because the old clients, again, only take 1 to 2 weeks to close, whereas new clients take me 30 to 60 days to close. So if I could start offering some things to clients I already have, well, guess what? I can start making more consistent recurring income. Bookkeepers, I mean, you got the tax preparers beat because you're already making consistent monthly income, but now you're offering additional things on top of that to make additional income. So start thinking about who is already asking you these questions. Do you have any clients who are already asking you about tax planning, hiring your kids? We're going to do a quick exercise. For anyone who bought the kit, you will see a couple calculators in there, like spreadsheet calculators in there that talk about counting your costs, seeing what it costs. So I want us to do a quick exercise, going back to look at this. So take out your pens and paper. That's what I meant to do a second ago before I jump too far. I want you to take out a paper and a pen. I want you to think of any clients. I want you to think of 5 clients that you work with, 5 clients that you work with. And I want you to just write their names down really quick. And what you're trying to see with those 5 clients is, have they, one, asked you for any of these services? Have they asked you to like help them hire their kids, help them with S Corp conversions? Have they asked you about helping them reduce their taxes in any way? So think of 5 clients who have asked you to do any of these things with them. Write their names down. Write their names down. Then the next thing I want you to do, I'm gonna give you a minute to do that. And if you're already done, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to write down what you charge them. What have you charged them for services already? What have you charged them for services? So for the services that you did do, what did you charge them? What did you charge them for the services that you already did for them? So name, second, next to them, next to that person, say what you already charged them for services. And then next to that amount, so like in the third column, I want you to say what you could have charged. And I'm going to give y'all some price points. If they ask you to help them hire their kids, you should be charging at least $2,000. So if the request was to help them hire their kids, charge at least $2,000. If the request is to set up a business, now, if you are not an attorney, I don't recommend that you set up the business, but you can use systems like CorpNet, who I use, and they will set it up for your client, and they can set it up right through you, and you can make money on every client that you help set up. So if you help them set up a business, you're looking at making around, let's say, $500 after CorpNet charges their fee. So about $500 per person. So add that next to any names that you should have, that for someone to ask you that. If they ask you about S Corp conversions, or even if you see that you could do S Corp conversions with them, I want you to put $5,000. Put $5,000 next to that. If they need some sort of year-round support, compliance, let's say a quarterly check-in for estimated taxes, so meeting 4 times a year, to do some sort of compliance check, you should be charging at least $2,000. So put $2,000 next to any of those names. Now, is there anything else that someone else may have asked you to do something and you're like, I don't know, what should this amount be? If so, go ahead and put it in the Q&A and I'll give you an amount. I want everybody else with the amounts I gave you, go ahead and add all those things up next to each name. And then I want you to tell us how much money you've left on the table. I want you to add all those up next to each name so you can see how much you left on the table for each person. And I want you to add them all up as a total so you can see how much money you should have made with those 5 clients that you left on the table. Home office deduction and accountable plans. Home office deductions and accountable plans. If it's home office deduction by itself, see, I would normally pair that with other strategies. So you want to do at least about 1,500 if it's just home office deduction. If it's an accountable plan, the accountable plan I normally do with my S Corps. So I would probably say, let's say $1,500. So either one, just do $1,500. And then I want you guys to all tell me how much money from those 5 clients you've left on the table. As in you didn't charge that you could have charged. As in you can literally go today and charge that today. So I just want y'all to tell me how much money you've left on the table. $50,000. $50,000. $50,000. Too much to add. OMG. Yo, this is one of my favorite exercises to do. A lot. Somebody just said a lot. This is one of my favorite exercises to do with people because a lot of times we don't realize how much money we're leaving on the table. It's just because we don't know what to do. So we don't do anything. So we leave all the money on the table. What could you do with that extra 50,000? What could you do with that extra, I done left too much? What can you do with that extra, I left a lot? Y'all see where we was living at in that house in the beginning. I came to the same realization that I was leaving money on the table. And if I actually just took the time to learn how to do these things and package it properly, that I could actually make some money and increase my revenue. Getting to your first $100,000 really is not strategy at all. For those of you who are not there, it's not strategy. It's literally just doing the work. And if you don't know how to do it, it's literally just figuring out what the process looks like to do it. Do it scared. All you need is a process, a little hand holding, some friends that could come alongside you and say, we got you. What questions do you have? Okay, let's do this. And the reason why I wanted to give you guys price points that were like, okay, $1,500, $2,000, $5,000. Yes, we can do the big things like the S Corps, but I used to have a lot of people come to me and say, I don't have clients that are making $200,000, $400,000. I have clients that are doing like $100,000. Well, guess what? A lot of them want to hire their kids too. And guess what? They'll pay you $2,000 to help them hire their kids. And some of you have wage clients who might have 1 rental property, 2 rental properties. Guess what? They want to hire their kids too. Some of them want to do a cost segregation. Some of them want to see if they're a real estate professional. So if you have clients like that, these are simple things that you can do and add to your current services. What I wanted you to see is whether you know it or not, you're leaving money on the table. All of us are, right? All of us are. So that's why I got into this. And I wanted to learn how to figure out how to create a seamless year-round income that doesn't just go up and down, right? But If I have clients right now, who can I reach out to say, hey, I have, what can we do? You're interested in this. I see this. Maybe we should consider this, and then charge them for it. All you need is a process. So now we're not just doing tax planning, but we start offering full service packages that you can work with them throughout the year. You can do the compliance work and charge them $2,000, which is basically $500 a quarter. You meet them once a quarter. You go over their estimated taxes. You tell them how much they're going to owe in their business. You charge them $2,000 for the year to do that. You do a year-end review. You pull together a year-end review statement. You help them do that, right? In it, we take our one-off services like prep and planning, and even our monthly bookkeeping clients, and we put them into other monthly services, including CFO services. Bookkeepers, CFO, that's your next thing, because our CFO services minimum $2,000 a month. Now, that may not be where you start, but you want to start somewhere. You might charge an extra $500, an extra $1,000 a month. But the point is, you start packaging things and offering more and charging more. These services are things, like I said, quarterly estimated services, compliance packages, bookkeeping services, CFO services. The possibilities, guys, there's so many possibilities. You got to find your lane. What is it that you enjoy doing? You don't have to do everything, and you don't have to be an expert for everyone, right? So literally, these are 3 cases I'm working on right now. Someone came to me. They needed tax resolution services. I then sold them into tax planning. I sold them into monthly bookkeeping and a compliance package where I do quarterly check-ins. The compliance was really important because with resolution services, you cannot default. If you default, they will kick you out. You can't default for 5 years. If we got an offer approved or anything, that you cannot default. So the resolution package was 10, and I turned that into a $15,000 annual package. So they paid the 10 and then $15,000 a year. That's about $1,200. I'm sorry. That's about what, $1,200 a month? I feel like my math is off. Somewhere around there a month. So I went from just one service to many. Second case, bookkeeping cleanup. They came to me for a cleanup. How many of you do cleanups? How many of you know how to do cleanups? Our bookkeepers, how many of you do cleanups? Cleanups is where it's at. You have so many people who need cleanups. Yes, right? So many people need cleanups. Talk to your tax resolution people, because guess what? Your tax resolution people, some of them do the bookkeeping cleanup. Some of them don't want to. Some of them don't want to touch the books. They need people like you. So offer them something. Say, hey, I'll do the bookkeeping cleanup if you take the resolution. Join the resolution groups. So I took them from their bookkeeping cleanup. We did what I call a smart suite, which is like the bookkeeping, compliance, support work, and a tax plan for them was $12,000 annual. So about $1,000 a month. And then the last one was I took a bookkeeping client, turned it into a tax prep, and I turned it into tax prep and a smart suite, which is just very basic bookkeeping and some compliance in that case. And these are all small firms, y'all. These are all small firms. It's about $7,000, just under $600 a month. So this is like almost $3,000 a month. I increased my revenue. So the clients you already have that you've already done a service for, I really enjoy working with you. Guess what? Offer them something else. Package something else. They want to keep working with you. So the thing is, if you just use these 3 systems to show you how to do these things, how to put these packages together, How many of you will feel more confident charging for the work that you're already doing? Someone to guide you on how to put this together. It's possible to hit 6 figures. You don't have to hustle and hustle and hustle. We can upsell the clients that you already have. We can bring on new clients too. It should be a revolving door. You want new clients to keep coming in. But you can already got clients that you want to, that who want to work with you or already asking you some of these questions. So now you can actually offer them something. Right? Someone said, this is why I'm attending the class. Yes. Right? So it's not that you're undercharging again because you're inexperienced. It's just because you're undervalued. So we have to show you how to show your value to your clients. You can deliver premium strategy in 30 minutes using prompts. AI is your friend. And the fastest way to 6 figures is leaning into the clients you already have. Leaning into the clients you already have. And figuring out how to bring on new clients. So let me ask you a question. What would it be worth to finally get paid for the strategy you're already giving away? So do y'all mind if I spent the next few minutes just showing you how to implement everything we just talked about without trying to figure it out by yourself? Do you guys mind if I just spend a few minutes just sharing with you how you can do that? All right, I got to go ahead. So this is what I'm going to talk to you guys about. Here's what you're going to get when you invest in yourself today. An editable tax template, but a whole tax system. It's not even just a template. AI builders and prompts to reduce your time. How to implement tax strategies, HRAs, S Corps, hiring kids, all of those things. What is the step-by-step? You don't got to know how to do it, and you ain't got to be 100% comfortable in it. You just have to know the steps. Sales scripts. What do you say to upsell one of your clients? What can you say tomorrow on the phone? Pick up the phone and call somebody and say, hello, I see that you can do this, XYZ. What can you say to get them to do that? And community and support. So let's break this down. The first thing I want to talk to you guys about is what we call the paid strategy playbook. It really is our tax planner launchpad system. You want to be the change that you want to see. And I hear what some of you are saying, but I still don't really understand what this means for me. But you know what? Let me put together something to help make it even more clear. So the first thing, what we call our tax planner launchpad. Now, if you follow me for a while, I used to have a program called the Tax Planner Launchpad, which was a new system that we had opened about a year ago. It used to be called Mothers in Tax, but this was a lot more robust. And we haven't been offering it. It hasn't been available. But these are just some of the things that you get with that. So let's jump into them. Number one, you're going to learn the tax planning process. There is a process to tax planning. So you learn how to do that, how to implement it, the entire process that goes behind it. You're also going to have the templates. I told you guys, if you want to do a template, I will give you the templates that I use, but even more, as time has gone on, I now have created AI prompts. Because I can give you a template and say, hey, fill out this template, and it can take you 30 minutes or an hour to fill it out with all the information. Or I can give you the information and say, here's the prompt, put the prompt into this system and the system will spit it out for you. And it will take you all of 2 minutes. Go through, edit it however you want, and it take you, 10 minutes, right? I'll show you how to pitch with confidence. Again, those phone scripts to upsell. General scripts. If you got a client for the first time and you need to upsell them into something, you got to know how to feel comfortable in the sales process. I will show you our sales process. Y'all, and when I tell you I use the Excel sheet, I mean, I use an Excel sheet. I literally sell people on the things that they want, and I bring them clarity. We have client intake forms. We have offer outlines. So you know exactly what questions to ask. So then you can do the analysis. And then I literally show you what the strategies are. Hiring kids, HRAs, S Corps, home office, business user vehicles, all the things that I just told you guys. I show you how to do all those things. We have calculators to show you what your return is going to be. That Excel sheet that I showed you earlier, we have an Excel sheet literally that's going to spell out so you can show them in real time how much money they are going to save and how much more it's going to cost them. So if you move someone into an S Corp conversion and you're like, hey, I'll do the S Corp for you. Well, guess what? It's going to cost them more. So you can build in your fees too to show this is how much more it's going to cost, but overall, you're still going to save more money. And you don't need tax planning software. Bookkeepers, if you need to connect with somebody, connect with them, partner with them. People in the group will be happy to partner with you because guess what? They got services that they don't want to do either. So they can partner with you as the bookkeeper. I'm going to show you how to close deals. But I'm also going to show you the upsell framework, engagement letters. I'm going to give you the engagement letters that we use. How to price the packages, the stuff I just told you guys on pricing. I'll show you how to price using value-based pricing. Templates, scripts, sales training, all of that is in there. So what you're going to be able to do is replace giving advice for free and guessing on prices and not being able to close, your unclear processes, justifying the price, losing time on follow-ups. You're going to be able to replace all of that with this. And here's what you're going to save. Time is going to save you time. It's going to make you more money and it's going to save you energy. We went through that in the example. It saves time, increases your revenue, and helps you to reclaim your energy. So that one thing, that one system is $4,500. I used to sell that system for that one system. Now, stick with me. Stick with me. I promise everything I offer you won't even come close to this. And I got a whole lot more that I want to show you. So what else do you need to be successful? Strategy isn't just new to you. Getting paid for it is. So you don't need a new license. You don't need more hours. You don't need more clients, even though more clients is nice. AI-powered automation. So what did I tell you guys? One of the things that you're going to need is how to utilize the AI that you have at your fingertips to be able to do these things faster. So they're going to help you to automate your processes, automate the things that you do, right? It's going to allow you to do that. So you're going to get these ChatGPT prompts. I say ChatGPT. If you use Claude or something else, you can use them in there too. But these prompts are going to help you with building these things out. Pre-build your tax plans, your home office, and your vehicle templates. It's going to build those things for you guys. So here's a couple, here's a client testimony. This saved me so much time. I used to feel overwhelmed building out plans, but now I just plug in the prompts, click send, and it's done. It's made my strategy process so much easier. Jasmine was one of our amazing students. Next testimony. I've always wanted to offer more strategy, but the admin side held me back. The automations allowed me to finally step into the advisor role without all the back end work. That's what Stephanie said. And then Michelle said, clients love the structure. I don't have to chase them for info. Everything's automated and it saves me hours every single week. So the automation, I told you, if I didn't say it already, automation is your first assistant. How many of you are solopreneurs? If you're a solopreneur, say solopreneur in the Q&A section. Solo, yes, right? So a lot of us are solopreneurs. AI becomes your first assistant. So I always tell people, before you hire an assistant, hire AI. If it costs you $500, $1,000 to hire an assistant, a part-time assistant, go ahead and spend the $20 that it costs you to get Claude or ChatGPT so that you can get in there and automate things faster. Go ahead and pay the $10 a month or $100 for a year to get systems like Gamma, who is going to build out your templates and literally in 2 minutes. It becomes your first assistant and will save you thousands until you can hire someone. So some of you might be thinking, okay, can I really do this? I'm not that tech savvy. I don't really have tax prep experience. What if my clients don't respond to the automation? How long is this going to take me to set up? What if I mess something up? Is this really different from what I've already tried before? You might be asking yourself some of these questions. Let's go a little bit deeper. That by itself, $2,500. So what else do you need to be successful? Number 3, a consistent client system. So the system shows you how to consistently attract your ideal clients and position yourself as a strategic advisor that they trust, all without dancing on reels. Anybody got time for that? Or cold DMing strangers. I don't like that. It's the marketing that you'll actually do. This is an actual calendar of mine. Meetings, 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 meetings. Clients just book. And I can show you what you need to do to get them to just book. So I told you, you don't need the new clients. You start with your old clients, but it's important to constantly be working to bring on new clients because it does take longer to bring on new clients. So you start right away. Literally, you can start closing clients that you already have, but you start warming up new clients so that you can start to close them too and work with them too. That's how you get to the 6 figures and multi 6 figures. So what I did was I built a simple system where you can show up weekly with strategy content, follow up with authority, let people come to you so you don't go after them. Tax planning is one of those services where you got to get them to want to work with you, not you go after them. They're not gonna buy. You have to get them to want to work with you. So marketing is going to be the number one thing that you're going to need to be doing in your business. Sales and marketing are the top things that you're going to always need to be doing in your business in order to stay sustainable, because you're going to have natural attrition where people are going to stop working with you. So you got to have some sort of revolving door to get new people to come in. So everything that's in there, we have a weekly visibility content plan. What do you need to do in marketing? How do you need to do that each week? What does that look like? 21 strategic content prompts for weekly posting. When I first started doing this years ago, you only had to post once a day. If you posted once a day, I just had so many people asking me to work with me. Today, you got to post 3 times a day. Who got time? If you got time to go and figure out 3 posts a day, let me know. And I also want to hire you. So, because I don't have time to think of 3 different posts to post every single day to keep having clients come in. So what I did was I went and used ChatGPT to show me what to post based on my audience, based on what I'm selling, based on what I'm trying to do, based on how I'm positioning myself as an authority. And they tell me what to post on Facebook. It's specifically how to do this on Facebook. Yes, so someone says they love it. They love ChatGPT. They do use it a lot. ChatGPT is my friend. It tells me what I need to post every week. And then you can schedule those things right on Facebook. And then it gives you a visibility tracker so you can actually see how you're doing with those posts. One of our students said they got 3 tax preps, one consult paid in a single week. Background check on admin. They were looking for admin at the time. 3 more prospects booked for the week. I'm telling you, you can have your calendar full. What it takes is a process. You got to have a process. So that is typically $2,500. Here's another testimonial. Program is awesome. I bought in right under 10,000 revenue my first month. I no longer have to do so many tax returns. In fact, the only returns I do now are if they're my monthly client or purchase another one of my services. Then lastly, I'm doing family. I will continue to do on theirs for now, but payment options are changing. So this is not uncommon. When we have people come in, they start going through the material, like, oh, okay, I can do this. I see the process. The thing that I see separates those who have consistent, sustainable longevity and those who have it like the first few months is what I already said, is the consistency. So you are probably, once you like see, oh, okay, I see the process. Oh, I can do this. Guess what? You're gonna be excited, like, oh, I can do this. I can put this process in place. I can do this. I can run through these. I can partner with somebody. I can handle this. And you're gonna start to see your numbers go up. And what I start to see a lot of people do is say, oh, my numbers have gone up. And so they stop doing the other things. You can't stop doing the marketing and all those things, because guess what? Now the clients, you'll upsell those into the new services. Clients who have been watching you, they now start seeing you post, they'll start reaching out to you, but you got to continue to bring in new clients. And so that's the part where I feel like a lot of people fall off. So if you want a consistent, I say a lot of people hit their first 5-figure months, 10,000, 15,000. But if you want consistent $20,000, $30,000 months, things like that, you got to be consistent with the marketing. I'll give you the tools to make it simple, but you got to be consistent with the marketing. So let's talk about the community. So you also get our implementation vault. Let's talk about that. The implementation vault is basically TaxDome. How many of you use TaxDome? How many of you use TaxDome or a similar system? Does anyone use TaxDome? Maybe nobody here uses TaxDome. I use TaxDome. Awesome. So TaxDome is a system, it's a CRM that basically automates all this stuff we just talked about. Remember I told y'all AI needs to be your first admin? TaxDome is like $800 a year to use. I think it's like $800 a year to use, right? That's way cheaper than hiring an admin, even at $500 a month. I purchased TaxDome because it automates all my things. When I have someone come in, I put them in what they call a workflow or a pipeline, and it'll automatically send them out the welcome email. It'll automatically send them out their invoice. It automatically sends them out their engagement letter. It automatically sends them out all of their things. Once they complete those things, it'll automatically move them to the next phase. The next phase may be something I need to do. It'll tell me, hey, Shanta, this person just finished. They just paid. They just did all their stuff. Now you need to do your part. I'll do my part. If I need something from the client, it'll automatically send them an organizer, say, hey, this is what I need. This is the time frame. I send daily reminders to my clients, so they get daily reminders. If I'm doing something that takes a while, like let's say we do the quarterly compliance check-ins, it'll send them a message 1 month before we're having a meeting, say, hey, it's time to schedule your call for next month. Look, here's a link. Go ahead and click on the link so you can schedule your call. So I built all these things out and I give them to my students. So if you are a student of mine and you do and you are in TaxDome, I will take my pipelines that I have built, that I use in my firm, that make my clients feel like white glove treatment, and I will put them in yours. There's no fee to do it. I will put them in yours. So now you have them and you can use the same process. So where Andrea was asking me earlier, like, hey, I don't have a background in this, I'll tell you exactly what to do. If you're doing an S Corp conversion, here's the form you got to fill out. This is what you put in the form. It'll tell you exactly what to do, exactly where to say, what to say. It'll tell you how to respond to the IRS notices, if there are late notices that come in because it's a late election. I walk you through every single step of what you need to do. And it's already pre-done for you. So this is a group of the ladies that I've worked with. I've worked with over 200 ladies, mostly ladies. I've had a couple of men, but over 200 ladies in the last, and like over the course of like 4 or 5 years, maybe 3 or 4 years. These are just some of the ladies that I've worked with. Right. And here are a couple of testimonials. So Ashera, who I still work with today, she was saying the Mothers in Tax program is what we used to call it, provided the confidence she needed to stop giving away answers for free. Shanta gives us all the tools needed to grow a thriving tax planning business. The work sessions are a big bonus, and I always learn something new. Shanta built a beautiful community of women entrepreneurs who are smart, sincere, genuine, and go-getters. We support each other because we want to see each other win. And then Mandy said Shanta's Mothers in Tax program has filled in so many of the gaps I had between offering prep and planning. With our guidance and fantastic system, I'm able to speak more confidently about the super valuable tax savings. Shanta has helped me realize how I'm able to offer more value and actually work less by implementing plans complete with helpful scripts. I love a good template. On top of all that, she has built a community that feels loving and supportive no matter what stage you're at. So those are a couple of testimonials that we had. So having the community, you get 6 months of community, 6 months of support and access, all those things, all of this together at a $12,000 value. If all I did was this, finally help you turn seasonal clients into year-round income, would it be worth it? Would it help you free up your time and eliminate the burnout? Would it be worth it? Would it give you the confidence to charge $1,500 a plan? Would it be worth it? So when I had two choices, I could spend years figuring it out, or you can spend years figuring it out, guessing your way through pricing and strategy and automation, or you can get the exact tools and templates and training that others are using to confidently charge $1,500 or more and close $5,000 clients. So my goal for this next cohort is to bring in at least $25,000 this year in new money, right? Some of you already said 50,000, too much, way too much, a lot that you've been leaving on the table. So the real cost isn't the investment. The real cost is continuing to undercharge, burn out every season, miss out on strategy income. If nothing changes, how much longer will you work 60 hours in the season, stress the rest of the year, offer high value advice, but get paid like a form filler, or wonder why others are growing and feel stuck? So you can get all of the things that we just mentioned for $19.97. Normally $39.97 is where we were when it was last open, because you're special. So you can get started today for just $9.97 though. So if you can get started for just $9.97 in 30 days, you'll pay the other $9.97. Hopefully by then you have your first client, and you'll be able to be a part of this community, start learning, growing, and implementing the services. If you already have clients who are willing and wanting to do this, well, guess what? You can actually get started with them and help them implement this now. So what you need to do right now is, I was going to say click on the link, but you can't click on the link. If you hover, I don't know if you guys can hover. Let me see. So I'll drop the link in just a second so that you guys can actually go to the link if you are interested. But you can put join today for $9.97. If you pay in full, I actually am going to be doing a one-on-one session with you. So if you pay in full today, I will be doing a one-on-one session with you to help you build this out. So any questions that you have, anywhere you're stuck, figuring out where to go, but we have a full comprehensive plan that's built to help you and support you. The AI prompts, all the things to not only be able to do it, but I really want you to be able to do it in less time, because a lot of us don't have time. I do realize that I work with women. A lot of those women are moms. And so I always come from the standpoint, okay, how can I do what I'm doing in less time? How can I do what I'm doing in less time? AI is going to be your friend. So everything from having a CRM, if you don't have a CRM, even if you don't get TaxDome, I recommend you get something, because it's going to save you time. things like ChatGPT, all those platforms, they're going to save you time. And so I'm going to show you how to utilize those things within your business so that it can start to save you time. So you really have two options of doing nothing, keep guessing, right? Or you can join today and you can start building out your system. So my real question to you is, what's the cost of getting stuck? If you're all ready to start trading time, to stop trading, time for survival and start building your next level business, then the real question is, are you in? And so I hope you're in. I would love to work with you. Again, 1997. Oh, and I got a couple bonuses. So 2 things I always hear people say, right? They feel stuck. So do you sometimes feel stuck like in your business? Or if you do, just know that you're not the only one. As an entrepreneur, you go up and down in business. Some months are great, some months are not, and you can feel completely stuck. So this workbook is one that I put together. It's called the Unstuck CFO. And if you're wondering, like, well, why is it CFO versus CEO? Because you are the CFO in your business, unless you hire one. You are the CFO. And so basically what this does is, this is a workbook that has daily ChatGPT prompts every day for 12 weeks, that anytime you get stuck in business, not just now, even into the future, because this is yours. So all these things that you guys see and hear me talk about, you have lifetime access to the materials. So I encourage you that when you get in, download the materials so you have them, because you don't have lifetime access to the portal. You have lifetime access to your materials. So this workbook, this Unstuck CFO, gives you daily prompts you can take action. Remember when I said there at times you might be afraid or not sure what to do, but the thing that helps you to move forward is to have a system that you can follow. So these prompts help you to do everything from building out an offer, creating your marketing plan based on your audience, your sales, helping your sales to grow and scale your business, helping you develop the content that you need. It even helps with time blocking, because when your mind feels stuck, the only way out is following a clear process while you're stuck. So let's be honest, them bills don't stop just because we feel stuck. And so this is designed to help you get unstuck, and it helps you to do it from the base. The base for me is understanding, why are you doing this? What is your mission? What is your vision? So if you've never built that out, your mission, your vision, your core values, it's going to help you build those things out, because then from there, it can help you to outline what you need to do, how you need to sell, how you need to position yourself in order to be able to sell in the market. So this will be yours as a bonus for the first 10 people that sign up. That 10 people that sign up. And I think I already told you guys about the other thing, which was the the other part was the tax dome pieces. So when you sign up and pay in full, one of the things that I am going to be offering to you guys is the tax dome stuff. So the tax dome stuff you will get once you pay in full. So full transparency there. Once you pay in full, you'll receive those. But the whole point of the tax dome pieces, for those who have tax dome, or even if you're considering getting tax dome, I'll be happy to talk to you about what that looks like. But again, it's a CRM that's going to help take you through the process of really moving from doing everything manually to doing things quicker. And the system will take on a lot of the heavy load. So the email responses, all those things that you need to do, it will be able to do those things for you. So then now that's less work that you have to put in. So I'm all about figuring out how to do things faster. So that is what I have for you guys today. Does anyone have any questions? And you can drop them in the Q&A slot. You can drop any questions that you have in the Q&A. I'm getting ready to drop the link. So anyone have any questions? I know we've been on here a while, and I thank you guys all for sticking with me. Anyone have any questions? I'm trying. Oh. All right. So for some reason, I'm having a hard time dropping the link. I'm just going to stop really quick so that I can actually type an answer. You're welcome. That's a good question. So someone asked, does the $97 paid for the starter kit apply to the overall fee? So it doesn't apply to the overall fee. That is separate, but you have the things that you have in your toolkit. Those are yours to keep and maintain. So you don't, that's yours to keep. You're welcome. Yeah, so someone said, so the starter kit is completely different. The starter kit actually has a tax planning template in it. It has a couple of the worksheets and calculators and things like that in it for you guys to like utilize and things, but it definitely doesn't have these things. So the system access, all of those things that's in the system, you don't have. And I wanted to see if I could actually show you guys and share with you guys like some of what's in our platform, because I think it's hard to kind of get a full picture without seeing it, kind of seeing some of the stuff on the back end. So our platform that we have with the Tax Planner Launchpad is designed to take someone who doesn't know anything about tax planning all the way through to how to do tax planning. So it talks about everything, the difference between tax prep and tax planning, but even more, what is the transformation? So it's going to give you all these strategies that we talked about, how you implement those strategies. What does that look like? What are the price points? How do you get someone to purchase those things from you? How do you get them to purchase those things from you? How do you get someone to upsell? How do you upsell? So let's say right now you have a client's tax return already in front of you. You're like, okay, or bookkeeping, you have that in front of you. And you're saying, I want to be able to help this person. I want to be able to help this person move into a tax plan of some sort, right? An S corp conversion, whatever it is. It's going to show you how to do that. It's going to give you the step-by-step. It's also going to help you communicate and be in a group with others who are also doing the same things. You can ask questions. I am also going to be meeting with anyone who pays in full today. I'm going to be actually doing a one-on-one session with you separately, where you can just ask me any questions that you have. So it's very different from the toolkit in that there were some things that you got in the toolkit, but it was just a few things to kind of get you started on your tax planning journey. But in terms of like all the things that you need to really do tax planning, it's going to be in this Launchpad program. Awesome. And I'm sorry guys, I'm having a hard time dropping this link. If you go to Answered, you can see I put the link in there, but for some reason I'm having a hard time putting it in the general Q&A section where you guys are. But you can see I put in there a link to the window, the Get Paid webinar link, where you can go and check out if you are interested. Again, you can get started today for just $19.97. The total price is $19.97, but you can get started today for just $9.97, and then the other $9.97 will be paid in 30 days. All right. Any other questions? If y'all have any questions at all, feel free to drop them below. I'm happy to answer. The link is there. Okay, great. So Katrina can at least see the link. I'm hoping everyone can see the link, because I didn't make it a private link. So I just want to make sure that everyone can see it. Any other questions that anyone has? Any other questions? Okay, you see it. Awesome. Oh, let me show you guys quickly since you are still here. Do you guys want to see a little bit of the back end of what it looks like in the tax planner, in the tax planner launchpad, like what you get? Is anyone interested in seeing that? Yes, okay. So let me show you guys, because I think it's much easier to look at and see than it is for me to talk from just a general space. So give me a second. I'm gonna pull it up here. Okay. Awesome. So hopefully it just lets me right in. Sometimes it doesn't. So give me a second, because so what are some of the things you guys learned today while I pull this up? What are some of the things you guys learned? Do you feel like there was anything that you learned that's like, oh, okay, I didn't know that, or that might be helpful either in growing your business or in like if you're looking to pursue your tax planning business? All right. All right, I'm not seeing anything, y'all. Sometimes it's gonna be so annoying. Okay. All right, just give me 1 minute. For some reason, it's not letting. Sometimes it makes me put my password in, and sometimes it just takes me straight in. And right now it's making me put my password in. So that's what's taking me a little second. All right, hold on, it's let me a second one. And I should have left this up earlier so you guys could see it. All right. Okay. All right, hopefully now I am in. Okay, great. So, all right, so this is what you guys will see if you are in, let me share, here we go. So this is what you guys will see when you join. So essentially, this is a tax planner launchpad. All of these sections over here, it basically spells Tax Planner Pro, and each section has different information that you will need in your tax planning journey. So it goes from, I'm just trying to close them so you can see some of what's in here. All right. So there are a couple things that you're going to see. There's a welcome. Each section has a video. So this, what you're seeing right now is like the welcome video. Every section has information that you come in. When you come in, it'll tell you what you need to do. So the welcome, one of the things that we ask people to do is do a contract with yourself to say, hey, I am motivated. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do tax planning. And it's really just a way to encourage people to get started on the journey. So that's action step one. And then the second step is it asks you to take a selfie with your contract and drop it into the group to let people know that, hey, I'm starting on this journey. I'm starting down this path. Each section also has, I would say most section, because once you get towards the end, they don't all have it, but you can apply for a badge. So what happens is, as you go through these sections, we want to keep you motivated and saying, okay, I've accomplished this. I've gone through this section. So you will get these different badges that you apply for. And once you get to this customer journey, all the badges basically take you to becoming a tax planner pro. So it takes you through all these different things that you're going to learn. You're going to learn about mindset and becoming a tax planner, because being a tax planner is not the same as doing tax prep or bookkeeping. It's very different. So it goes through what that looks like. It talks about the difference of tax prep. But most important, Those things are fine. But I think where y'all really want to get information is how are you going to make money from this, right? So it talks about sales. What does that sale look like? How do you sell? What does the process look like? What are the scripts? And when you click on these, the system basically is telling you, like, if there's a system that we use, it'll tell you what the recommendation is. If it's not a system, it'll tell you, okay, how do you put this in practice? What do you need to know? If there's questions that you need to ask, what are those questions, right? It'll give you links, welcome letters. If you have someone who's a new client, how do you click on that welcome letter so that you can get things moving, to get things going? The analysis, it goes through the analysis phase. How do we analyze? What does that look like? What are you telling the client? And it even gives you the Excel sheets. Remember I told you guys about the Excel sheets? So again, I don't use tax planning software. So the ones I recommend are Drake, if you use that. But if you don't use a software and you connect with somebody, you can just do that. But it tells you what you should be looking for, what the system is, what the process is. More importantly, it's going to go over, I'm going to go back to the analysis section. It's going to tell you what your skill is and what the system is. So in this section, it actually has the Excel sheets that you'll need. So remember I talked about the Excel sheets that you need in order for you to do these different things. It's going to have a video that goes over the overview, but then it's also going to share with you the, I think it's in skill. Now you get to implement what it is that you've learned. And so it gives you the Excel sheet that we use. It also encourages you to use beta client. So for anyone who doesn't know what a beta client is, it's like, this is your first client. So if you've never done this before, which most people haven't when they get on these calls. So if you've never gone through this before, you don't know what to look for. So it basically shows you, this whole process shows you how to take a client that you already have and walk them through the process of tax planning. It tells you how to utilize your beta client. It goes over, it has videos like this video here is your analysis. After you've done your analysis, you're plugging in your Excel numbers. It shows you what that's looking like so you can have an understanding of what the client's looking for. And then we also have some what we call high income earner strategies. That has it's a similar spreadsheet, but it's also a little bit different. So it gives you links to those spreadsheets so you can actually grab those spreadsheets so you can utilize the same spreadsheets that we use. So the very same things that we use. As you complete the sections, you can mark complete and you grab your badges, you move on to the next one. It also shares all the strategies that we utilize. I'm going to just jump down to strategies real quick. It shares a ton of strategies. These are things that we already use. Someone already asked about S Corp conversion. Yes. So we have a whole S Corp training in here that you get. It was like an 8-hour training session, but I'm actually getting ready to put in here the shortened version of that, where that just takes you through the S Corp conversion process. This is literally the process that I use in TaxDome. So for those who don't use TaxDome, it'll be the same process. Say like, here's your welcome letter. Here's this that needs to go out. Here's that needs to go out. So you'll have all of those things. These are the things you need to collect and ask for in that section. Then these are the things that you need to send into the IRS. This is what it needs to say when you send it in. Then it goes over, you have to wait for responses. During that time where you're waiting, you have emails that are automatically going out to your client. So you want to set up some sort of system or process so that you're not constantly having to reach out to them every few weeks to say, hey, we're still waiting. So it gives them a process, but it also asks the client that if they haven't heard anything from the IRS, then it asks them to mark that they haven't heard anything from the IRS. At the same time, you're doing the same thing, right? And then once that gets done, you know how to respond to late notices. If this is a late election, how to respond to the late notices, setting you up with Gusto, giving you the links so that you can get yourself set up with a referral account so that your clients, when you set them up for S Corp conversion or when you set them up for hiring children, guess what? They're going to pay you. Gusto is going to pay you for doing that. When you set someone up for CorpNet, I have a direct contact at CorpNet that I can give anyone who's interested, and it's going to set you up to actually receive money for that too. So either they'll give you a referral fee, or you can have them go through you and you can just charge what you want. I usually have it go through me, but I do let my clients know, and then I charge a higher premium for that service. So it might be an extra $300 or something like that. But now you're making money on that side, and you're making money on from the payroll side, in addition to whatever you're charging. So it goes over these different strategies. It goes over some of our higher end strategies, which are basically your strategies for high income wage earners. You may have some people who don't, well, I guess that's a question. Do some of you have clients who are like, make a good amount of money, but they don't really have a business, or maybe they just have one rental property? Sometimes people have those types of clients. Well, guess what? This is going to allow you to be able this is going to allow you to take all that information from those clients and be able to offer them different types of strategies, probably stuff you've never heard of, because it's only allowed to go to accredited investors. So we have all of that information. So so it has all of this in here, all the videos, all those things. It takes you through the different processes, everything you need to know from your kickoff call all the way to the point that you're implementing for the clients. And this stuff is getting updated. It's getting updated regularly. I've been switching out some stuff because the process, I think a more simplified process I'm finding is actually making people more money. So that's why I was saying a tax plan template is great. And I think what a lot of tax planning softwares do is sell people on a really nice tax planning template. The template is great, but what the clients really want is clarity. So if you can show them clarity on how they made money, how they're going to make money or save money, how much you're going to charge them, that's what they want to know. That's what they want to know. So if you can bring them that information first and foremost, you're going to close more clients than bringing them a pretty template. Clients don't really care about the pretty templates. And in fact, all those clients I told you I sold last year, that $100,000 in a month, not a single one of them got a tax plan template from me, and none of them asked for it. So it's not the template, it's the clarity. So I hope that makes sense. But yes, so this is the system that you get access to. The CFO, Unstuck CFO workbook is in here, so you can download that. So many of these things, if you can click on it and it's a link that takes you to a downloadable, you're able to download those things. Your sales skills, how to present, all those things are here. See your sales script, all of those things. We go over all of those things. So it's everything literally that you need to do from the beginning to end. And if you are just, I tell people, if you just have gaps, go and find the gaps first. Like if you're already really good at sales, you probably don't need to do the sales section. Just go to the next section then, right? If you're already good, your mindset and all those things are already good, then you might be able to skip those sections. Focus on the things where you can make money right away, because if you get a win right away, you're going to feel great if you get a win right away. So I've seen a lot of people, like I said, they come in the first 30 days, they're doing 5 figures already. It really is a matter of coming in, going through, learning the information, and getting moving. So I hope you guys join me. I know we've been on a call for a long time. I do appreciate those of you who have stayed. You will be receiving some emails from you, and I hope to see some of you in the class. I don't see any additional questions, so we're going to go ahead and log out. But thank you so much for joining me tonight and hearing all about the Tax Planner Launchpad. I'm hoping to start working with some of you soon, see some of you hit your goal, and start making money in business. All right, so everyone have an amazing evening, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.